Hey guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4 who's in our 7th year of homeschooling. I have a 6th grader and a 2nd grader. Today, I am hosting a collaboration with some of our favorite secular friends. And what are we doing, guys? We are meeting the teacher. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I love to do this at the start of every school year. Host a little Meet the Teacher, which allows me to come here because we've gained so many people in the last year, and share about me, give you a little backstory on how we got to here. And I absolutely love it when I can make this a collaboration because it's so fun to be able to learn more about our secular homeschool friends who come here and decide to share both on YouTube and over on Instagram, because there's a few who don't do YouTube, so head over to Instagram. But I quite enjoy it, so huge shout out to all of the ladies who decided to participate. I will have the playlist linked right up here. You can click it, or right on down in the description box. If you want to wait till this video is done, please wait till this video is done, and go watch everybody's videos and make some new friends. And it's amazing. And I always love it when they come out and show support, and it's fun when we get to just, well, it's fun to chat about yourself, right? Like, who knows? Like, there's not a subject that we know better than ourselves, right? I say that, it could get weird. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna look down a lot because I have it on my iPad. So because I made up questions. Do I know the question? No. I bet I made a list of questions to send to everyone. So, you know, getting all like apples to apples comparisons here. But, you know, there's some amazing people who I've gotten to know kind of through the secular homeschool space here on YouTube who I absolutely adore. Absolutely adore. So go give them love. If you've not heard of them, give them extra love because they're awesome. Okay, so what led you to this path? This path being homeschool. So we have done this since my oldest went into kinder, and it's one of the things that, I mean, we were both public school, so this never would have come up. I don't know how, but it started really kind of sitting with me that a traditional educational model might not serve us best. And she was ahead, and I wanted to keep her ahead. Both my husband and I are huge fans of kind of ongoing learning. We do it ourselves all the time. If there's something to know, we're gonna find it out. We read, like it suits us well, absolutely well. And yeah, it kind of took off. It kind of took off in that way. All right, what subjects or topics do you love teaching the most, and why are they your favorites? I have really gained an absolute love of teaching history, and that is because I do not teach history. We find the pieces, this year's big history project, and we go through it together. And every time I've heard about something, even if it's something I knew backwards and forwards, I get more out of it. So I think I love the things the most, which honestly is probably most of the things that we do, that I don't come to as an expert, but I come to as I'm just learning with them. And that for me, I think makes a really big difference in our homeschool because I'm allowed to be excited. I'm allowed to not know the answers. And it just, we share the learning, if that makes sense. It's not my burden to put on them. It's just, we do it together. And I think that works really well for us, and it's very nice. Okay, what is your teaching philosophy and style? I think I just answered that with the last question. We do use curriculum, but I've got kind of an eclectic mix of it. And because we homeschool, and because I think we were natural learners anyway, there's also a fair amount of interest-led learning, but I think that's just because that's how we operate in our home. And so it was just kind of always going to be that way, whether we sent them to a brick and mortar or we kept them home. We were always going to supplement with that in some way because it just is naturally how we operate as humans, my husband and I. So yes, but I'm not like unschooling or game schooling, even though we play games and we love that. And yes, so we use a curriculum that we've now kind of eclectically compiled. Yeah, Does that help? I don't know if that helped. That might not help. As a homeschool mom, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in the balancing your roles as a parent and teacher? I struggle personally, and I know that I do this. I am a completionist. So there's only 6 more lessons, let's complete it. If we can go faster, let's go faster. And that does not resonate with either of my children. So I constantly have to keep that in check. I also need to do a better job of staying on the cleaning of my house while we are doing real life and schools and extras and things like that, because I prioritize. I do a really good job, I think, of prioritizing school before almost anything else. But I think a lot of discipline from being self-employed is so long. I don't even remember now. 13 years? I don't know. I've been self-employed for like a wicked long time. And so I think there's a lot of discipline that comes from that. And I was a hairstylist when I worked outside the home. And so there's a lot of discipline that comes in your schedule and keeping your books and your taxes and all of that. So it translates very well, I feel like, to me being regimented in that way. Also, I'm a completionist. I mean, it all ties back. How do you create a conducive learning environment at home for your children? You guys know we do not have a homeschool room. A lot of people do. We homeschool all together, all 3 of us, sometimes Dad, in the living room in our common space. And so our things are handy and accessible. And, my kids are kind of far apart. So I feel like I did a good job because when Amelia started at 5, Marilyn was 1. So I feel like I did a good job of kind of setting that expectation on schoolwork, so that when it came time, Marilyn just kind of fell right in. And she did her stuff: cutting, coloring, stamping, putting beads on pipe cleaners, Play-Doh, all that stuff, right alongside us. So it was like her school. And I feel like that made a really big difference in our home as far as allowing everybody to keep doing what they needed to do. We kind of put that expectation on her pretty early that this is what happens. And so when it was time for her to really school, it was already kind of a thing. She already sat there with us and did steps, and now she just did school. What resources or curriculum do you find most helpful in your homeschooling journey? YouTube? The people on YouTube? No. Well, yes. But it comes back, right? It always comes back. I don't like being the one who has the answer. So like with math, I like that we have a video that we watch that helps us. I like our art history videos. I like having the big history project compiled for me. I like audiobooks. So I like to be given the freedom to sit and learn with my kids. I don't have to know it. And that works really well for me. So apps, games, all of that. I don't want to be the one who, I'll buy it, I'll look through it, I will tweak it to suit us best, but I don't want to be the one to gather the information because I don't feel like that's something I enjoy or am good at. So that is what I find most helpful, is things that do it for me and tell me, do this, then do this, then do this. And then if I do that and it doesn't work for me, then I'm like, you know what I should do instead? I should do half of this and 3/4 of that, and then we're good. So I like that. And the ability to quit. I'm really good at quitting stuff, which I think is really important in this journey, especially if you're trying to figure out like what works and what doesn't work. Okay, how do you tailor your teaching methods to meet the individual needs and learning styles of your children? So I have one child who will read and write all day long. She loves it. She does it for fun. I have another child who is getting into her reading. I know, I'm really proud of that. But she does not like to write. And I think that's okay. So I think meeting our expectations, because you guys know we've done a lot of things together as a family while my kids are 4 grade levels apart. And that is because I have a different expectation for my 6th grader than I do my 2nd grader. And I try very hard to communicate that. So by all means, I think my 2nd grader is getting an absolute ton out of US history and big history project and middle school biology and crash course biology. She's getting an absolute ton out of it. but am I expecting what she's getting out of it to be the same as my 6th grader? Super not. I also don't have huge standards as far as that. Like, I'm good if we watch it and they get like 5 nuggets. I'm not the person who feels like we need to test and do all those things. And part of that is because I have the luxury of being in Texas. I don't have to. I don't have to account for every minute we spent learning. I don't have to make sure they're answering every test right on a question to justify my existence in homeschooling. So I think I have a lot of privilege in that respect. So it probably doesn't equate the same to the other 49 states, to be honest. Do you involve your children in the planning of their lessons and their educational goals? If so, how? I do. As we are, first of all, they get really excited about the curriculum. Like, we do timber doodle kits and they get so excited. Like, my daughter was waiting on getting the tally ho game. Like, she was just, she was chomping at the bit. But I do consult with them. Like, I found this, I like it. What do you think? How do you feel like it looks? What do you think as far as the way we're using it? Or is it sitting with you? Like, I very much do take their feedback because I'm a firm believer if you don't enjoy it, you will not learn. So what's the point, right? I want this to be a good and fun space for them, but also quality space. So there's kind of a balance there that I think is really important to strike. As far as their educational goals, yes, we do. We have family goals every year, like around New Year's, that we want to do. And then we incorporate those. So like one of them was vocabulary for my oldest, and we incorporate that into what we're doing for schoolwork. And so it works really well in our home. What are some of the extracurricular activities or field trips you organize to enrich your children's homeschooling experience? This is where I think I am certainly not like other homeschool moms. So, and I see this all the time in like the co-ops, the local co-ops and things like that. People will be like, oh, we're going to the zoo and I put together a scavenger hunt and we're going to make like this fun learning opportunity for everybody there. And I'm like, we could just go to the zoo. Like, I don't feel the need to make a thing out of things, if that makes sense. Like, I'm perfectly happy just going to the zoo. Like, I don't need to make it something that's they're gonna be tested on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good with that. However, we do try, we're out all the time. We love family adventures, big, small. Here in Houston, traveling, we're very big travelers. We love it. So I think it just kind of naturally happens for us. As far as extracurriculars, we've signed up. The Houston Museum of Natural Science does homeschool day classes. So we sign up for those and I absolutely love them because it gets them doing something that is like different. And they also even do like dissection labs and things like that, which I think is amazing because I'm not doing that at home. I'm going to outsource. But as far as a lot of that goes, I don't need them to necessarily be like writing something when we're out doing something. The doing something is good enough for me. I don't need to make it a thing it's not, you know? I know a lot of you are going to come with me with the pitchforks, and that's okay. It's okay. What do you find most rewarding about being a homeschool mom and teacher? The most rewarding part of this is that I get to be responsible for making my children love learning. And I firmly believe that they do. I get to share my love of learning. We have such amazing freedoms being homeschoolers, and especially in Texas because there's so little that we have to do. It is an amazing way of life. It's becoming even more amazing every year. Every year, I think it's the best thing that's ever happened since last year. But it is so rewarding. Our family unit is stronger, I know, because of this. Just the freedom. There's no other way to describe it. We have the freedom to go to the Alamo when we're studying that. No, I didn't do a test on it. We just went. It was fine. We have the freedom to go to the zoo on Tuesday because the other schools are back in session. We have the freedom to be together as a family and truly enjoy each other. And we're not limited because my kids do activities outside of school. And so I don't know how families are willing to have such little time together. And I don't even know if most people realize it. It makes me sad, honestly, for everybody I know that they don't get more time together to enjoy their kids and to see when the switch flips and they get it and to be a part of that for them. And I don't know that most people want that. I do, and we've got it, and I'm so thankful. So that for me is the most rewarding bit. Guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what everybody here is sharing. I'm excited to see the answers. Let me know. Pick one of any of these questions and answer it down in the comments below, or shoot me a DM over on Instagram if you don't want to share it. That's fine. But let me know. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear this. Let's meet the teacher. Or you know what? Go over to Instagram, answer these questions and tag me in a post. Go. I will gladly be the person who encouraged you to share that you are the teacher. Maybe you'll inspire somebody you know, a loved one, a family member to take on this way of life. Maybe. Guys, I hope that you found it helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. And do not forget to check out the playlist because everybody's sharing something awesome. Bye, guys.